And to explain my role in that all as well, so I said I'm one of the developers, been working with Martin pretty much since Moodle started, but when he started this partner program, my company, we kind of separated in that sense. So business-wise, we're one of the Moodle partners in Australia now, and so we get to fund development. We actually have developers who work on core code, that's how we do it. So there you go. The other nice thing about that too, it means there's not one company you're locked into. If you are running a Moodle site and you do need support in some way, you can go to a Moodle partner company. If you don't like them, you can move to another one. There's nothing locking you down to one. If you don't like any of the Moodle partner companies, you can go to some other company that actually provides Moodle services. There's nothing stopping you doing that. The Moodle partner companies they're allowed to use the word Moodle because it says a trademark name, so they can advertise with it, that's all. It's the only advantage they really have. The Moodle partners also, as I was talking about that, they actually put back into the software, so quite often we do development work and we put straight back into the core software, and we also help out at Moodle.org as much as we can as well. So that's kind of the economy of Moodle, how it all works. So let me move on. So that's kind of a snapshot of Moodle at the present. So let me move on to what's coming up, which is, I'm guessing, probably what most of you are interested in. So a quick word about what are the versions of Moodle. So here we go. I've just got a list of different release dates for Moodle. So Moodle 1 actually came out in August 2002, 20th of August 2002. That's Moodle's birthday, in case you want to know. Also happens to be Martin's birthday. So there we go. So that's when the first version came out. So you can see the versions were coming out pretty much every year, at least at the beginning there. Then it slowed down as Moodle got bigger. So currently, I can't move away from the microphone, can I? That's why I've got a pointer. So currently, the current stable version is 1.9, and you can see it was actually released in 2008, so 2 years ago. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that one there. It's the current stable version of Moodle. Moodle 2, the long-awaited version, is due out this year. And the release date is when it's ready. So that's Martin's take on that one. He doesn't like keeping two really hard release dates because he has been caught in the past doing that, and he actually released some buggy software. For those being around Moodle for a while, Moodle 1.7 actually shipped with a lot of bugs in it, and he said never again. So he's just going to make sure it's really tight code, and he'll release it when it's ready. That said, I was actually at a meeting with Martin Wednesday night, and he reckons I'll have a beta release out within a month now. They're just tidying up code, going to get it out there for the community to start using, and he's aiming for a release in about June of this year. Usually aims for a release to match up just before the Northern Hemisphere school year or the Southern Hemisphere school year, one of those two. So usually, yeah, so around that half-year mark. There are plans, so Moodle 2, that's coming out, there are plans for Moodle 2.1, and there's even been discussions happening about Moodle 3, the all-new Moodle 3, and what will be in that. So let me go through some of the features. So what are the new features in Moodle 2? And I'm sorry about this is actually just two big lists of things. Didn't have time to make it all look shiny. So there's been some major rewrites in Moodle 2. Look, to summarise that, Moodle 2 will just work better than Moodle 1.9. In fact, all those core code rewrites are already being done, and it just runs smoother. It scales a lot better. There's still areas in Moodle where if you're talking to several thousand users, you'd probably want to avoid certain areas. Now the whole lot just works very well. Yes, so nothing big in there I'm going to talk about. Yeah, I'll come back. If anyone has any questions after I finish about any of those, please hit me with them. There's a lot of new features going in there too, so repositories, portfolios, conditional activities, I'll talk about those, and a lot of other things that are just going into Moodle as well. Yeah. So, I'll move on. So, let me talk about some of these new features that are coming into Moodle. I've called this learning pathways. So can I create learning pathways? So one of the big things that teachers have been saying is Moodle is very static in what it has. You have a list of activities and resources, and they're saying, well, I don't actually want my students to do this activity until they've done this one, and so on, so making conditions on it. And there's also been that notion of completion. How do I know when someone's completed the course? How do I know when they've completed an activity? What does completion mean? Because let's say you put a quiz into a course, who's to say when it's complete? Just because you got 60%, 80%? What's complete? So that whole notion's now been put into Moodle, that you can set up these criteria. So that's actually, I don't know how you can say, that's a very basic topic section from a Moodle 2 course. And you'll see there that there is actually a couple of extra things that you normally wouldn't see. Obviously it's a very basic thing, we've kept it basic. These little tick boxes down the side, and it's also this here, there's extra little information when an activity is not available. So what these are, the little tick boxes down the side, are about completion. And so now activities have that notion of complete, and that can be automatic or it can be manual. So when you set up a new activity in Moodle, you can say, for instance, if it's a quiz, you might say, it's complete when you've got 60% in this quiz, and you might have as many attempts as you like, or whatever. It might be a resource, and it might be a PDF, and you say, what's complete when you've viewed it? On the other hand, you might make it manual, so you have these resources, and you'll see that some of these are actually greyed out, and that means they're automatic, so Moodle will actually decide when they're complete. But these ones here, lost my pointer, I won't look at it. Is that somewhere? Yeah, whatever. The ones that aren't disabled, that actually means the user can check them themselves. So they can say, you might say, well, you tell me when you've gone and viewed that resource. Which is quite a handy thing, because sometimes you want people to agree to policies or something like that. And you can say, well, you tell me. It's just like those little, I don't know, if you've signed up for something on the web and they have terms and conditions and you tick the box, you never read them, but you tick the box saying you have. Well, same deal. The users can tick it, and you've got a record of that then saying, well, you said you read it, you said you've done this. So you've got that choice of automatic or manual. And there's also a notion, I haven't got any slides about this, but there's also a notion now of course completion as well. Because before Moodle, well, currently Moodle only stores a grade. And so people have set up letter grades or scales to actually say completed, not completed in their course. But really that's kind of cheating on how the letters and the scales work. But now there's actually a notion of course completion, and it might be that you need all of the activities complete, for instance. So that will actually happen at the course level. And even beyond that, you can do progress tracking now in Moodle 2. So there might be a list of 10 courses, and you can track your progress. So how am I tracking this course 80% complete of the completed activities? How many of these courses have I completed? And so there might be a learning pathway at the course level as well now. The second part of this is the conditions. So you'll see here under, that's probably a bit hard to see, but under assignment 1, which is a short essay, it says it's not available until the activity survey is marked complete. So there's a condition on the assignment being available, saying you have to actually complete some other activity before. And those conditions can be all sorts of things. It can be based on a grade, so maybe you can't read this PDF until you've got 80% in the quiz. Or maybe if you've got between 60 and 80%, you can read, this document down here or do this assignment. But if you get above 80%, well, then you can do this PDF. And so, oh, cool.